Hey Aries, this is Michael with your August 2022 reading. This month is starting off on a very dynamic and groundbreaking note with your ruling planet Mars forming a conjunction with Uranus and the North Node in the sign of Taurus. Now, for those of you who don't know what the North Node is, this is one of the points where the eclipses occur, and it shifts signs about every 18 months. Uranus is joining the North Node, which only happens once every 15 years, so the start of this month is kind of a big deal. We are also in Leo season, and as a fire sign, you can really capitalize on the energy that is available to you right now. So there's a lot of really exciting things that are in the air for you, Aries. I do already have some of the tarot cards laid out on the table, but before we get too far into your reading, I just want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It really is with all of your support that I am able to continue putting out these messages and doing these readings. If you are interested in a personal reading or a distance Reiki session, I have links in the description box down below. You can also find links for my astrology blog, as well as all of the decks that I feature in these videos. So if you're interested in picking out one of those decks, you can find that. Pretty much any question that you have is probably in the description box. Anyways, Aries, I am really interested in kind of diving in here. The first card that I actually pulled for you was the Seven of Cups, which makes me feel like there might be some confusion or maybe some brainstorming. You're trying to figure out how it is that you can move forward, how you can best direct your energy. And what's very, very interesting about this, again, we have a lot happening with your ruling planet Mars. You're ruled by Mars. So whenever something is aspecting Mars or having some sort of activation with this planet, it affects you in a very profound way. Now, Mars is in Taurus, which is your second house, which pertains to finances. It also pertains to possessions and your values overall. So there could be this confusion or trying to make sense of things, especially in this area of your life. I do feel like a lot of you are also wanting to pursue passions or, some sort of creative endeavor. Maybe this is you kind of getting lost in fantasy worlds or getting lost in creative ideas, really wanting to make something here. But the energy almost feels a little bit hard to channel right now. I do feel like with the Three of Pentacles here, there is this need to work together and collaborate, potentially with a Virgo or a Gemini, with the Magician here. This could also just be your own energy as well. The Magician does represent Mercury, which is why we are thinking of Mercury-ruled signs, Gemini and Virgo. But the Magician really does represent manifestation, bringing things together, creating things, and building things. When we really look at this card, we can see all of the elements at play here. We have the sword, we have the pentacle, we have the cup, we have the wand. And there is this need to bring things together, especially with the Three of Pentacles. I feel like the start of this month, you're kind of bringing everything together, and we do have the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck here, which is quite interesting because it feels like things could be happening very quickly. There could be sudden realizations or truths that are being revealed to you. And maybe that's where this confusion is coming. And I feel like some of you have your head in the clouds. I do want to just be honest with that. And I feel like with Mercury entering Virgo on August 4th, this is going to be a really good time for you to get grounded and for you to make practical steps or conceive of plans that can actually be actionable for you. We do also have Venus entering Leo on the 11th, which just so happens to be the same day we have a full moon in Aquarius. So as Venus is entering into Leo, Leo really represents creativity. It represents romance for you as well. But I'm really getting more of a creative vibe here, if I'm being honest. And with the full moon in Aquarius, there is perhaps a change to your friendships or your ideals or social networks. I feel like, honestly, there is something about you figuring out who your real friends are. That could be something that's thematic, especially towards the middle of this month. And I really feel that there's almost this reality check or something that is being made very clear to you. I want to pull an animal card, and we'll pull some more tarot in a moment. But I like to pull these animal cards almost to figure out what sort of energies you're supposed to be embodying. Interesting. We do have the raccoon. Some of you need to change up the work that you do. So when I see the raccoon, there's almost this creative identity crisis. And there's this version of you that people see, maybe in the public or at work, or even in your personal life. But then there's this longing to be innovative. There's this longing to be inventive with this raccoon energy. There is a very ingenious energy. I feel like some of you might also be working with your hands on something or wanting to work with your hands, especially if there's just been a lot of ideas. It's almost like you need to do something here. This could also be writing, but I feel like there's something about building and being creative. Or starting a project. I do feel like with this raccoon energy, I'm also getting this kind of sneaky energy around you. And that's kind of what I'm getting with the Seven of Cups as well. So I want you to really be discerning with the people you are associating with this month. And honestly, it's not even necessarily a deceptive energy. The more I'm kind of leaning into this, it's more along the lines of, are the people you are connecting with inspiring you? Do they motivate you to do the things that really light you up? Or are they just people who you kind of unwind with at the end of the day and just kind of keep you locked in a routine that isn't really taking you where you want to go? And that's not to say that you can't have fun, you can't relax with people. But I feel like there's a lot of focus on the people that you associate with and how they motivate you. And we have the owl here as well, connecting with your intuition, connecting with this magic. I feel like a lot of you really are focused on manifestation. Interesting how I'm actually getting owl as a guide for you. So this could be a spiritual teacher or mentor who is helping you this month, helping you see things that are hidden. Because there may be this lack of clarity with the Seven of Cups, so there may be a lot of things that are up in the air. And tapping into this sort of spiritual discernment can help you figure out how to move forward. Let's pull some more tarot cards and see where all of this leads you. Where is this going for Aries? Especially into the second half of this month. Okay, interesting. Where is this going for Aries? Wow, okay. That is interesting. We have the Six of Cups. The Eight of Swords with the Nine of Swords. And we do have a Tower card here as well. I don't want you to panic about that, but it's actually pretty interesting that this card is showing up kind of later on. I feel like some of you are already feeling this Tower energy at the beginning of this month, specifically around the 1st or in the first week, with Mars forming in conjunction with the North Node and Uranus in Taurus. There are some major changes, and I kind of want to clarify this Tower card actually. Why is the Tower here? What is the Tower about? Show us clearly, please. Why is the Tower here? Why is the Tower here? Interesting. King of Swords with the Seven of Wands. Again, this feels like external energy. And also thinking of the King of Swords as Aquarius energy. Could also be Libra or Gemini, but Aquarius energy is very interesting to me because we do have an Aquarius full moon. So there could be some sort of rupture following the full moon. And you may feel like you need to defend yourself. Some of you are actually feeling quite stuck. And to be honest, I'm not even convinced that this Tower is real, as much as it is just an imagined downfall or crumbling. Your thoughts are kind of getting away on you, and I think that makes sense, especially as Mars enters into Gemini towards the end of this month, your conscious mind. There could be a lot of communication, there could be a lot of back and forth. Your thoughts might even be racing a little bit. And I'm sorry, Mars enters into Gemini on the 20th. And this is actually quite interesting because Mars is going to be in Gemini pretty much for the rest of the year. Mars is actually going to be going retrograde in the autumn. And I feel like part of this Tower too, being Aquarius energy, is also tied to Uranus. And Uranus is going to be going retrograde in Taurus on the 24th. And there could be the sudden breakthrough or the sudden change. I feel like there is this perceived sense of instability or your foundations being shattered or rocked in a very major way. There could be some sort of scare with money or an unexpected expense that's really unsettling to you. So that's something that you might want to put on your radar. But honestly, Aries, this feels more like it's in your head with the Eight of Swords and Nine of Swords. And I feel like with the King of Swords and also the Owl, I did talk about you connecting with a mentor. And this could be someone from the past as well. Someone who knows you with the Six of Cups here. There is actually some healing here too, which is nice to see. There could even be some healing around this Virgo new moon on the 27th, as well as when the sun enters into Virgo on the 22nd. If there's been something with health, I actually feel like you are getting your health in order, or you are healing. And it's interesting how we go from the Seven of Cups to the Six of Cups. That's kind of beneath this card. I feel like some of you are just very stuck in your head. And I was getting that with the Six of Cups. And now with the Eight of Swords and Nine of Swords, it's almost like, I don't want to say you've been passive, but you've been thinking on something or reflecting on something or ruminating on something for so long that now something is starting to fester. But I do feel like you are taking better care of yourself. And if there is some sort of anxiety or kind of breaking point that you reach, it ultimately does trigger some sort of healing crisis where you're taking better care of yourself, you're committing to better routines. And that could be something that's very powerful for you as we are really coming in to this Virgo energy towards the end of the month. And again, Mercury will be in Virgo from the 4th to the 25th. And Mercury is actually exalted in Virgo. So this is a really good time to plan and to commit to new routines and figure out what it is that works for you. What else do we have? What else do we have for Aries? Judgment. Interesting. This was actually at the bottom of the deck just a moment ago and was kind of eyeing me. So again, there is this wake-up call. And that's kind of what this tower feels like. There is a major wake-up call. Tell me more about this tower. Tell me more about this tower energy and the Judgment card. Three of Swords. Interesting. Mars in Gemini is honestly not super comfortable. And the only reason I say that is because we're going into Virgo season right as Mars is entering into Gemini. I think by the time we are entering into Libra season, it'll feel a lot more pleasant. But there is a harsh or sharp energy here. And again, you're very affected by Mars. And the new moon is going to be forming a square with Mars and Gemini on the 27th. And again, these squares can bring up conflict or tension. And sometimes with Virgo energy, for you this is the 6th house, there is something about adversarial energy. There could be an adversary for you this month, which is quite interesting. And I do feel like there is this message. It's important that you are very discerning, again, with the people that you are surrounding yourself with. Before, this felt more like, are these people really aligned with what it is you want to experience in this life? But I do also get this sort of shadowy, kind of sneaky energy. Let's pull another animal card, and I think I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you as well. We have the tiger. Very interesting, because this is an energy that can get very easily overstimulated, but it's very, very attuned. And I'm thinking of tiger kind of watching from the shadows. There is something in the shadows. And tiger is a really good animal to channel or to call as a totem when we are working through fear. So some of you are going to be working through subconscious fears or things that you might ordinarily avoid. You might need to do some shadow work this month. There's a lot of fear. And it's not even necessarily about what it is that happens, especially towards the second half of this month. It's almost like what you're making that mean, or what you think it means. And it's almost like your mind is running away a bit on you, where it's like, oh man, I got a really bad performance review. They must be wanting to fire me, or something like that. And maybe that's not even the best example. It almost feels a little smaller. Like there's a smaller slight, or even an attack on some way, or some sort of criticism that's making you feel very defensive. And that could escalate very quickly. And it's important that you face your fears, especially with the Seven of Cups. Again, here, you might not be seeing things super, super clearly. And I almost feel like there's a sudden manifestation, but it almost feels like a genie granting a wish. And if there is something that you're manifesting at the start of this month, I want to just tell you, it might come with a fine print. There might be some trouble that brews from this. Maybe there are people who are jealous, or maybe there are people who want to sabotage something. I'm not loving that energy. I think I want to pull a Botanical Oracle card for you. I don't usually pull from these cards in these general readings, but I've been very drawn to them this month. So I'm wondering, maybe a lot of you are getting more into herbalism or connecting more with plants. That's kind of a Virgo energy to me too. Interesting. We have Trout Lily And the message with this card is patience. And that's very interesting because trout lilies can take anywhere from 4 to 7 years to bloom. Some of you might be feeling like things aren't happening fast enough. And we have marshmallow, which is adversity. Again, there is a very adversarial energy here. And I actually want to read Marshmallow from the book here because this talks about how marshmallow often grows in places that have been burned down by wildfires. And that really reminds me of this tower energy and finding nourishment in these sort of situations. So let's see what the book has to say. Marshmallow, here we go. And I'm going to kind of skip around because this book goes over all the medicinal properties and culinary uses of each of these plants, which is often quite interesting, but I'm going to kind of let my intuition lead me here. Most of the plants in the mallow family are edible, and there are records showing their culinary use as far back as the early Roman Empire. You can identify this plant by its soft, furry leaves that are deeply divided into 3 sections and are similar in shape to maple leaves. The flowers, usually white, light purple, or mauve, have 5 heart-shaped petals that bloom in late summer. Marshmallow is a wonderful addition to a witch's garden, due both to its beauty and beneficial medicinal properties. When adequately watered, it will grow up to 4 feet tall and will attract pollinators to your garden, especially butterflies. Marshmallow is a perennial, so choose a permanent spot for it before planting. This extremely hardy plant often thrives in times of scarcity, when food crops are destroyed or failing, and that quality has inspired its oracle property, adversity. In areas that have been sacked with crops burned and the land ravaged, the mallow plant will still grow. Historical records show that this plant is a saving foodstuff for those in dire need. In modern-day Syria, it has been reported that displaced people and refugees have been able to forage and eat mallow. Though used in the creation of various sweet confections, this plant is a reminder that sweetness can arise even from the direst circumstances. Marshmallow is associated with the tarot's 4 of Swords, carrying an important message about rest and self-care. Weathering adversity can sometimes require brute strength, but more often it is prudent to take on challenges one step at a time, never forgetting that to do your best, you must be at your best. Remember the marshmallow and its ability to grow from the ashes. Now, this is very interesting coming back to this 6 of Cups as well, because there was this message of healing and self-care that came with this as well. So really do be gentle with yourself. And I think with Trout Lily too being this message of patience, there is something that takes time. It's not about rushing through things at the end of August, especially in Virgo season. Things are very methodical, and it's sort of a slow, steady, wins the race kind of energy in Virgo season. So that might be a really helpful message for you, Aries. Those are all the messages I'm actually getting for you this month. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below what this sort of fear or anxiety is. I think it might be helpful for you to kind of talk through this. Again, all of my links are in the description box down below. And if this reading didn't quite resonate or you'd like greater clarity, you're more than welcome to check out one of the other videos, especially for your moon or rising sign. There may be a message there for you that didn't come up in this reading. And if it just didn't resonate, nothing went wrong. Not all of these messages are going to be meant for all of you. So definitely check out some of the other videos if that's the case. Anyways, Aries, I am wishing you a very happy and safe August, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.